Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alliance for Gun Responsibility CEO, Renée Hopkins.
Thank you, and thank you all so much for being here today. I just look out and think, wow, look at what we have done. I want to start by just taking a few moments to reflect on what a difference 1 year can make. I don't need to remind everyone of the amazing passage of Initiative 1639, the biggest and most comprehensive gun policy passed at the ballot in our history, with nearly 60% of the vote. But that win was just the beginning. We also, on the election night of 2018, for the first time in Washington state history, elected a gun violence prevention majority in Olympia. Our elected officials were told and sent the message loud and clear that Washingtonians vote on gun violence prevention. And it showed. We passed 10 priority policies this year, more than all previous years combined. And it's not just the number of policies that we passed. It's the power that these policies have to save lives in our communities. By passing 3 laws pertaining to our protection orders, Washington state now has the strongest laws in the country to address the intersection of gun violence and domestic violence, and the strongest extreme risk protection order policy that now addresses not just the purchase and possession, but also access of firearms. We also passed another suicide prevention policy that will keep guns out of the hands of people in crisis who've been involuntarily committed for 72 hours. Together with IRPOs and voluntary waivers passed last year, our state is leading the country in creative policies to address the epidemic that is suicide in our nation. We were also able to pass one of the strongest ghost gun bills in the country. And in addition to passing a record number of bills, the next biennium's budget includes nearly $8 million to support the implementation of 1639, improve our background check system, and increase programmatic work in impacted communities. And something we're really excited about, $1 million for gun violence prevention research to the University of Washington in Harborview. A special thanks to Grandmothers Against Gun Violence for their focused support and prioritization of research funding. Legislators are getting the message. And do you know who else heard the message loud and clear? The NRA. Yeah. In 2016, the NRA invested more to support candidates in Washington state than in any other state in the country. And that's not per capita, more than any other state. And guess how much they invested to support candidates in 2018? 0. That is winning. All of that and more made this the most successful legislative session in our history. In short, we crushed it. And that's not all. We continue to take our role in providing educational opportunities for the community and coalition partners very seriously. We held 2 educational summits focusing on the intersection of gun violence and domestic violence, and for the first time in Eastern Washington with our partners at the Spokane Police Department and Spokane YWCA. After 2 long years of implementation work with Seattle and King County, the newly formed Regional Domestic Violence Firearms Enforcement Unit, that is a mouthful, had its first full year of operation. And in 1 year, they increased the number of guns removed from abusers and people in crisis by 400%. We have a number of people from the unit here today. Can you please stand up? Chris, David, I'm going to embarrass you. Where are you? Truly life-saving work. Also, as part of the work of the regional unit, more than 180 guns were removed from people in crisis using the Extreme Risk Protection Order process. Research suggests that these removals prevented up to 18 suicides in King County alone. In moments when this work seems endless, we need to remember that the work we are doing is truly saving lives. And if only one family never has to feel what so many in this room have had to live through, it is worth it. The list of ways everyone in this room has been part of our work could go on and on. You are all mission critical to ending the gun violence epidemic in our communities. But I would be remiss if I didn't call out a few people and groups specifically. Nick and Leslie Hanauer, yes, please. Thank you for your commitment, your continued investment, your leadership, and your partnership in this movement. And to our partners at Vulcan, please know that your continued partnership and investment in this work as part of Paul Allen's legacy is so very appreciated. Okay, and now I'm going to do something that I know our elected officials are not going to like, so I'm not going to call out everyone's name because there are too many of you here. But can you all please stand? At every level of government, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, and especially this year, thank you for helping us pass 10 life-saving policies. Yeah. To our coalition partners, the faith community, public health, public safety, and medical communities, and to Brady, Ceasefire, Everytown, Moms Demand Action, March for Our Lives, and last but certainly not least, Grandmothers Against Gun Violence, thank you. To the volunteers helping out today and who show up every time we ask, thank you, I am so grateful. And can I also ask the Alliance Board of Directors and staff to stand? I am honored to work with each of you. The examples I've spoken of today, and many more that I haven't, are milestones on the path of progress to reducing gun violence in our state and providing a roadmap for other states to follow. And they are worth celebrating. But we have more work to do. To ground ourselves in the work ahead, I want to call your attention to the cards at each of your place settings. I want to ask each of you, while you're here today, to read about the people, real people, who've lost their lives or been directly impacted by gun violence. Suicide, homicide, mass shootings, domestic violence, and unintentional gun deaths. Each person on those cards is in this room or related to someone in this room. And we could make 100 new cards of those like that every single day to represent the people that are lost in our country. While we cannot undo the impact of violence on those lives, we have the opportunity to keep fighting to prevent more lives lost, to prevent the unimaginable pain that families and communities continue to carry with them after the loss of someone to gun violence, or the ongoing emotional and physical pain carried by those who are shot and survived, or those living with the horror that comes from being a witness to gun violence. We must continue to fight to honor Edgar, Veronica, Malia, Grant, Dana, Robert, Sam, Adam, Carmen, Steve, Treese, and Cheryl. As you listen to today's program, I hope you hear something that inspires you to renew the commitment that we all share, to take action as individuals and as a community, to make sure our families and our communities are safer from gun violence. We are not done. The fight must go on.